Alright folks, we're back on the common test server for patch 1.17. So let's take a look at the FV4201 Chieftain prototype. It is a premium tier 9 British heavy tank. It is practically the prototype version of the Chieftain. So we already have the Chieftain Mark 6, but the hull is practically the same, about 80mm at the front, so pretty crap. It is well sloped, but if you unangle it or if you don't go hull down, you'll get pinned. So the 𝘍𝘶 is a little bit more prominent compared to the T95 Chieftain hybrid for Clan Wars. So even if you go hull down, you will get pinned by shooting at the 𝘍𝘶. So ick. But this kind of reminds me of a up-tiered FV4202 at tier 9. So practically about the same, and it makes more credit and crew XP like the STRVK or the 𝘍𝘶114, but yeah, 𝘍𝘶114 is not as reliable as this thing, so yeah. The gun dispersion bloom on that vehicle is garbage. So we'll take a look at this vehicle to see if it's worth your money or if it's a marathon vehicle, but makes more credits and crew XP. Development started in 1951 and continued until 1966, where the full production led to, but crew of 4 fits all the British heavy tanks at high tier. Needs an extra loader for the Churchills or the Black Prince, I think, or radio operator, one of which, but L11 right? L11 120, so decent gun, but let's take a look at the stats. So 262mm of pin is pretty good, but 400 alpha, the standard one. DPM is 2100, so about 2400 with a rammer and vents, but it's alright. If it's a premium, then sure, but I mean, it's no M103, so you cannot beat that vehicle in terms of DPM. But aim time is a little bit long, 2.6 seconds about, and 0.35 accuracy is average. I mean, it's almost American in terms of accuracy, not really British. British accuracy is about 0.32 or below, so a little bit underwhelming. But 10 degrees of gun depression, 20 elevation, 33.4 degrees per second for the turret traverse, so it's a premium tank, and we'll compare it with the STRVK to see which one has a better gun, a better 120. But STRVK is a heavy tank for the Swedes. Well, it has more pin. Oh, it's a 105, not 120. That's right. Woof. But DPM is about the same. Longer aim time, worse accuracy, slower turret traverse. Better gun elevation, about the same reload time, but 10 more alpha. So the gun is practically the same as the 105 on the STRVK. Is it 105? It is 105. But I think this turret for the Centurion turret is more reliable because the lip of the 𝘍𝘶 is sloped downwards a little bit at the front, so giving you a more bouncing chance. So you have to hit this very small rectangular section right here. So you have to hit this lip right here in order to pin. That is a very small target. Whereas on the Chieftain prototype, it's bigger and it's more flat. So hitting here, less of a problem compared to the STRVK. But let's take a look at the armor overall. So it has 1950 health, which is average. It's a little bit above average. Your usual main battle tank-esque of a heavy tank at tier 9 usually have about 1800, so it's a little bit above average. But hull armor at the front is 80. Ugh. Side armor is 60 for the hull, 350 for the turret front, but you do have a weak spot, and 110 for the side of the turret. But let's take a look. So frontal hull without angling and hull down tactics, 165mm effective or so. Let's take a look at range. 170-ish. Alright, but lower plate is huge. Lower plate is about 115. You'll get pinned. So, I mean, you might throw a few shots with the cheeks, the sloped cheeks of the hull sides, or the driver hatch, but yeah, if they shoot center mass, you'll get pinned. Let's see how good the side scraping is. Not really that good. Side of the cheeks of the hull is 100, so about 182. If you expose like this part, they can just jam a shot right here. So it's like the sponsons on the Churchill in a sense. So they jut out from the tracks. It's not separate, so it's like a T shape. Yeah, it's like a T shape instead of just a hull shape. So if you expose your side armor, they'll just easily pin underneath the turret. So don't side scrape. Yeah, it's mostly for hull down. Hull down will hide your cupola a little bit and just present your turret front. But turret front, yeah, it's unpenetrable unless it's something like unless you get unlucky with a Jagdpanzer E100 high explosive anti-tank round into your face or into the machine gun coaxial port. So still, I mean, it's 420 millimeters of pin compared to, yeah, you'll bounce most of the shots unless they hit a top of your roof for the turret, and that's only 40 millimeters. So any caliber above 120 will overmatch and auto pin this roof. And cupola is pretty big. Well, big-ish, small-ish. It's medium size, so you have to wiggle the turret around to throw off the shots or just move back and forth and vibrate in place. It's only 160, so yeah. It's not like the original tier 10 FV4202. That cupola was like twice this size or 3 times this size. It's like Type 61 almost. It's pretty bad, but yeah, armor is workable. It's not as reliable in my opinion as the STRVK because Centurion turret front is decent, but if you hit the coax on the Centurion turret, you might pin. Side armor is garbage, side of the hull is garbage, side of the turret is garbage, everywhere else garbage. Engine deck is only 20, so if you get hit by a high explosive from artillery shell, it hurts. Yep, it's a up-tiered FV4202, so you play it like a medium tank. But let's see how fast this vehicle is. 14.4 horsepower per ton ratio. It's alright. Respectable main battle tank-ish. 50 tons. And top speed of 45. Actually 35, never mind. Reverse of 12. Horsepower per ton ratio means it will reach that 35, but it's kinda sluggish. Hull traverse about 31.3. Meh. Concealment, heavy tank, nothing to talk about. Spotting 400 meters. So these are the main base stats in the game, but let's take a look at the hidden stats from tanks.gg. So we can see that the normal APCR round has decent shell velocity. Not really crazy like 1,500 meters per second, but still will do. Dispersion factors while moving is kind of bad for moving the hull, but turret traverse is decent, so adjusting to shots while moving the turret is pretty good, comparable to the patent, but not while moving. It's slightly below average. The average is about 0.14 or 1.5, so yeah, okay. Accuracy slightly below average compared to the Conqueror or the Concept 1B. Alright. Has 59 rounds, which is a plus compared to the actual Conqueror or the M103. They have about 35 rounds, so you are more free to spam your shots or blind fire into some bush or something. That would be decent. Yeah, effective top speed is 35. It's alright. Terrain resistance 1.05 for hard, 1.25 for medium, 2.2 for soft. It's okay. It's middle of the road, so not that bad. But taking a look at the gun constraints, there's no gun depression at the rear. It's a weird keyhole shape. So at the front you have the 10 degrees of gun depression, but if you move to the back, your engine deck blocks your gun depression, so it's practically like the Italian tank destroyers. You move your gun to the front most of the time. But let's compare this thing to something like the Concept 1B or the Conqueror, just to get a case of which is decent enough, but has more health than the STRVK. Tier 8. Let's just put the WZ114, just so you can see which one is a better Tier 9 credit maker. Well, yeah, DPM sucks on the WZ114. It's pretty bad. Why would you pay money for that? I have no idea. I saw the stats, just like, no, we're not doing that thing. Concept 1B, M103. Let's do the Conqueror. Email is kind of different, so let's not compare. Oh crap, all my crews are here, so turn off everything. Turn off the thing. So unprofessional. You should do this beforehand. Damn it. So stock Conqueror. No crew, no equipment, no modules, nada. Stock Concept 1B and M103. Turn off everything. Turn off that. And there we go. So obviously it doesn't have the DPM like an M103. M103 has, holy shit, 2,500 DPM. So it's not even close to the Concept 1B or the Conqueror. And the accuracy is about the same as the Americans. So you should have about 0.32 if you want a good accuracy gun. But also, the aim time is the longest other than the WZ114. So don't pick the WZ114. It's pretty crap. Horsepower per ton ratio. Let's see. It's nowhere near the Concept 1B. It's slightly lower than the M103 and the STRVK, so it's a little bit more sluggish to rev up. And the top speed is about the same as the other allied vehicles, the Conqueror and the M103, so 35 is meh. It's heavy tank. Does have the best camo, but that's not much. It's not much. And 400 meters of view range is baseline. So if you like the STRVK, then I feel you probably like the Chieftain prototype, but how much would I rate it? It is a credit maker, obviously, but this thing can make bonds, whereas the Chieftain prototype cannot. So for now, it is still classified as a premium tank, but it doesn't have the bond making capabilities like the WZ114 or the STRVK. Yeah, you should be able to make bonds with this stuff, but okay, I guess. I mean, yeah, don't pick the WZ114. When I ever compare tier 9 heavy tanks, this is practically the gold standard. This is one of the best vehicles out there. High horsepower per ton ratio, good DPM, view range, fast, and decent enough armor too. So this is the gold standard. The Chieftain prototype is nowhere near that horsepower per ton ratio or the top speed for that matter. So it's like a 6 out of 10. I mean, it's like a 5 out of 10. It's average. So I would say 5 out of 10. Mostly because the hull armor suck. If the hull armor is something of a hybrid of the T95/Chieftain hybrid, then obviously it's a lot better, but the hull is just garbage. It's like a Lorraine 50T in a sense, but it's not as big. So you can see with the original Chieftain at tier 9, where the hell is the Chieftain? There it is. So this is the unavailable Mark 6 Chieftain, and you can see with the armor, it's 85 or 80 at the front. 85. Still 180 at the front. Pretty crap. Lower plate is huge. 110mm effective. Large cupola. It's only 62. This thing needs a buff, but they're not going to release this thing. They're not. But yeah, it doesn't have that much DPM. It's at tier 10 obviously. So yeah, it's like a smaller Lorraine 50T. That should not be a heavy tank. That should just be like a large medium. Even though it's classified as a heavy. This thing. It's like a smaller version of this, but it has credit making capabilities as a premium. It's like, oh my god. 90 at the front. This is so big of a target. You cannot hide this thing. Oh my god. Yeah, it's like a smaller version of a Lorraine 50T, practically. Cannot bounce shots with the hull other than hull down position and really well sloped upper plate, but otherwise 5 out of 10. It's how much would I give the STRVK though? The upper plate is stronger, I think, on the STRVK. Well, not really. Lower plate is stronger for sure, but yeah, upper plate is I mean, the turret front is slightly stronger, slightly. If you gun the press and you hide the 𝘑𝘶, yeah, it's stronger. But I'll be generous, 5.5. There you go, folks. 5.5 out of 10. It's average across the board, so we might see a marathon, or this might become next year's Battle Pass tank, one of the which, but 5.5 out of 10. I'm being generous. But thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Oh god, I mean, it's so bland. It's not overpowered or oppressing like the Concept 1B, so yeah, I'm going to use the Concept 1B as the gold standard of tier 9 heavy tank, or assault / versatile heavy tank, like a main battle tank, but this is 5.5 on the board. Ah, I forgot to mention the gold shell. Oops. I don't think you need the gold shell, but gold shell is APCR with about 310, so only about 40 more millimeters of pen. It's not crazy, but I would prefer something like around 330 or so. 50 more millimeters of pen, but still okay. 5.5 out of 10. It's whatever. But I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Starry, starry night. Paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day with eyes that know the darkness in my soul.